Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you a beautiful tenor-sized custom ukulele from Petros. And for those of you who know and are frequent with watching Ukulele Friend here, it's no secret that I'm a big fan of Petros custom ukuleles. And this one here is very beautiful. And before we started shooting here, I was actually playing a lot and noodling around with this instrument. It's quite special, I must say. So, getting right into the logistics of this, you can see on the front beautiful curly redwood top, nice big curl patterns. You can see the different shades of the curl, especially depending on the lighting that you have in the room. Beautiful big lighting in this room, but on my side, very nice and nice big grain patterns that run down the instrument as well. Some dark streaks right here, and again, you can see some of that of the grain pattern right here, that the nice little rays of color. And then here on the sides and back, beautiful orange, caramel color, orangish Hawaiian curly coal. Very nice big grain patterns that runs across halfway in through the instrument like this on both sides. Book matched really well. And just like what you would typically see with coal, you can see a lot of the different colors. Not only do you see all like the grain patterns and the curliness of it, you can see the different darker streaks right here. You can see some of the orange streaks right here, some of the darker streaks right here that only runs up halfway. But you can just see so much different things going on on the back of the instrument, as well as on the side right here, especially on this side. You can see the nice dark streaks, as well as the nice orange right here, and then some little blondness right here. So curly coal is one of those woods that just keeps on giving. It's such a beautiful, unique, wood, and it's one of the best tone woods that you can use for ukulele to get that nice sweet warm sound that my ears like to hear when I play koa instruments. It's binded really nicely and aesthetically with the cherry nut wood right here, so around the back, as well as the back end strip through the back of the ukulele, as well as around the top of the instrument. So it gives it a nice kind of like that brownish color, along with the brown and the orangeness of the koa, as well as that kind of darker kind of the red color from the curly redwood on the top. So just beautiful all around, just woody kind of look aesthetic to it. So really nice. And you can even see that cherry wood that's binded around the side sound port as well. And a small little detail, you can see the white and black purfling that's around the cherry wood as well. And then alongside the binding of the ukulele itself, we have a slight wood purfling that wraps all the way around the instrument on the back, here on the back end strip, along the sides right here on the bottom and the top, as well as around the fretboard itself, or on the back of the fretboard on the sides. All right here. So beautiful stuff. And then you can even see the cherry wood that wraps around the headstock as well, all the way around the perimeter of the instrument itself. So really, really beautiful attention to details. Even on the heel itself, you can see nice curly coal right there. Just attention to detail is really, really awesome. If you turn our attentions to the front, what's known with Petros ukuleles is that we have this ebony ebony purfling around that wraps around the instrument itself on the perimeter. But within it, I'm not sure if the camera can see it, but there's all these mini little flowers, kind of like plumeria flowers that wrap all the way around the instrument. I mean, if I were to count it, there's probably a good 100 of those little flowers that are wrapped around in that ebony background right here. And then pretty much what you see around the rosette right here, again with the black ebony rosette, but you can see a bigger or enlarged version of these kind of plumeria flowers. So what we see right here is shrunk down like 10% of the size, and that's what's wrapping around all of the instrument right here. And then we have some other cool like kind of leaves designs here on the bridge itself. And then we have Macassar ebony bridge, fretboard, as well as the headstock with the Petros logo here on the top. So just very elegant, and I can't ignore the fact that you have this nice, beautiful, shiny colors wrapped around the rosette with the flowers, matched against that ebony rosette. As my eyes interpret it, there's a lot of green, blue, some orange in there, some yellows. Just very beautiful. And again, depending on like how you're interacting or how it's interacting with the light of the room, it just really pops and it really grabs your attention. So just really beautiful stuff. As you can see on the fretboard, we have the little like plumeria or like hibiscus flowers that's on the 3, 5, 7, 10, double on 12 and 15, as well as your fret markers here on the on the back of the fretboard, or on the side of the fretboard, on your 3, 5, 7, 10, double on 12, and then 15 right there. We have a gloss finish neck with the butternut wood here on the neck, as well as the rustic looking Rubner tuners, which is very smooth and very accurate to use, and it matches with that kind of that bronzish kind of look that goes against the Macassar ebony here on the headstock. So just all around beautiful stuff. And then can't forget to mention that this ukulele does have a radius fretboard as well, so there's a slight curvature on the fret wires itself. So it makes it a little easier to hold your bar chords or hold some of those more sophisticated chords on the fretboard. Now getting into the sound itself, and the playability of this instrument is just fantastic. One of the reasons why I love Petros ukuleles is that he, for me, and how I hear or perceive the sound of his instruments, is just oozing with warmth. It's so sweet. It's just so like, it's really just ear candy for my ears. It feels like someone, like, I feel like I'm a big guy. It's like me hugging myself. Like I'm just like, it feels really good. You get those nice big bear hugs and you feel just really wrapped around it, and just a sense of warmth. Whenever I play like this kind of ukulele, it's just so sweet. The sound just really reverberates in the room, but it's just all the strings just really just wrap around each other so nicely, especially for these more kind of complex kind of chords. You know, as dissonant as this diminished chord sounds, again, so just so sweet, just really meshes really well together. When I play this really high F chord, this A string, just so sweet, rounded, but still articulate, has a lot of clarity at the same time, which is very important if you're picking, you know, if you're a fingerstyle player. It just really brings joy for me to personally play a custom Petros ukulele. Just beautiful stuff. I am noticing that the tension of the strings is slightly on the tighter side. So for those of you who like to dig in their instruments, or you don't like floppy strings, meaning like, you know, if you're trying to pick and then all of a sudden like, it falls off the fretboard, you're definitely not going to run into those kind of issues on this instrument. It's of a tighter tension. So if I'm trying to like, you know, pull the, or like, you know, kind of squeeze the strings like this, it has a slightly tighter reaction to it, so you can really dig into it and it's not going to be like moving all over the place. It also means that you can dig into the instrument or dig into the strings a lot more, and it's not going to be buzzing or like kind of moving around in terms of like it like does stuff like that. So and I do notice that the action is slightly higher than usual, but at the same time what that does is that it provides more volume. So if you want more projection, if you want a bigger sound, by having a higher action, you can achieve those kind of things. You do have to press slightly harder to press on the chords, but there's, you know, pros and cons to having too low of a setup or too high of a setup. But just wanted to acknowledge that this one is slightly on the higher side. So for those of you who do prefer the higher setup because you like digging into your instruments, or you play a little more with your instruments, this instrument is pretty much geared really well for that. But for someone like me who always complains and makes a joke that I have girl hands and I can't handle high tension or high setups, this still feels wonderful to play despite having those kind of qualities. Because Petros is just, it's just such an easy instrument to play, despite the kind of slightly higher tension and the higher setup. It's just so easy to still play with, like how the neck is shaped. It's more on the traditional side, so it's not too thick, it's not too thin, and just the way the neck and the fretboard and the orientation of how Bruce sets up his instruments, or how it's like the format of it, it just still feels really nice. It's really such a pleasure to be able to play these instruments. So I'm going to go ahead and get lost in my own little world, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the ride that I'm about to take you guys on. So here's some improvising. We're gonna go ahead and play around with this instrument. So here we go. can just go on and on and on. This thing just just kind of sounds really, really good. And again, just really sweet. And for me, I'm particularly a lighter player, so I don't have to dig into it. I don't have to overplay the instrument. I can play really soft, and it still just responds so beautifully. One of those instruments you definitely want to noodle around on your couch for 3 hours. So here's some strumming.